Hello and good morning. Today we will be talking about the Black Death as a literature review. My name is Loura Hefni. Let's begin. The plague arrived in Europe in October 1347, when 12 ships from the Black Sea docked at the Sicilian port of Messina. People gathered on the docks were met with a horrifying surprise. Most sailors aboard the ships were dead, and those still alive were gravely ill and covered in black boils that oozed blood and pus. Aboard the ship were not only sailors, but rats. The rats brought with them the Black Death, the bubonic plague, as shown in the article written by Jean Martin. Types of plague. Bubonic plague. The period of bubonic plague is usually 2 to 8 days. Patients develop fever, headache, chills, and weakness, and one or more swollen, painful lymph nodes called buboes. This form usually results from the bite of an infected flea. Pneumonic plague. The first signs of illness are fever, headache, weakness, and rapidly developing pneumonia with shortness of breath, chest pain, cough, and sometimes bloody or watery sputum. The pneumonia progresses for 2 to 4 days and may cause respiratory failure and shock. Septicemic plague. The period of septicemic plague is poorly defined but likely occur within days of exposure. Patients develop fever, chills, extreme weakness, abdominal pain, shock, and possibly bleeding into the skin and other organs. Without treatment, many die within 24 days. With treatment, takes up to 7 to 8 to 10 days, as shown in the article written by Jean Martin. The Black Death was an epidemic which hit Europe between 1347 and 1400. It was a disease spread through contact with animals, basically through fleas and other rat parasites. At that time, rats often coexisted with humans, thus allowing the disease to spread so quickly. But many people instead turned to the church for a cure, praying that God would end the great epidemic. Religious reactions took two extreme forms: the rise of the flagellants and the persecution of Jews. They believed that Black Death was the punishment of God and took it upon themselves to try to appease him. Life during the Black Death was extremely unpleasant. If you didn't die from the horrible symptoms of the disease, then starving to death was a likely possibility. Because whole villages were wiped out by the Black Death, no one was left to work the land and grow food, according to the article written by Joshua J. Mark. The end of the Black Death. It is known for certain how many people died during the Black Death. About 25 million people are estimated to have died in Europe from the plague between 1347 and 1351. Can the Black Death be cured? The bubonic plague can be treated and cured with antibiotics. If you are diagnosed with bubonic plague, you'll be hospitalized and given antibiotics. In some cases, you may be put into an isolation unit, according to the article written by Patley Shipman. Life after the Black Death. With as much as half of the population dead, survivors in the post-plague era had more resources available to them: historical documentation, records, and improvement in diets, especially among the poor. Good effects of the Black Death: an end to feudalism, increased wages and innovation, the idea of separation of church and state, and an attention to hygiene and medicine are only some of the positive things that came after the plague. Bad effects of the Black Death. The first main impact of the Black Death was the sheer number of people that died. Historians agree that Europe's population dropped by half in the first several decades of the Black Death, and this had a huge impact on social and family life for communities throughout Europe, according to the article written by Joshua J. Mark.